By breaking a water pipe and flooding his work floor, Cassian disables the floor's security system, allowing work crews there to overpower the few guards and escape. Kino uses the prison's intercom system to encourage other floors to escape, and a rebellion sweeps through the entire prison. Despite his role in the escape, Kino reveals that he can't swim. Cassian swims with the other escapees and reaches land. Mon Mothma meets with Davos Skulden, a shady businessman who offers to help finance her projects. But Mon refuses after Davo requests that Mon arrange a meeting between her daughter and his son, an initial step towards marriage in their Chandrian culture. ISB supervisor Lonnie Jung, secretly a rebel informant, meets with Luthen and updates him on ISB activities. The two men reflect on how they are both trapped in their roles. Thanks for stopping by the Search T channel. I am Search T, and that is the synopsis of episode 10 of Star Wars Andor. This one's entitled One Way Out. And yes, sure it was one way out when everything was a go and they were able to overpower the guards, shut off the power, and be able to escape. But when they reach that one way out, it's revealed that unfortunately Kino can't swim. And as people are just jumping over into the water, and he just sits there defeated. He knows that, it's sink or swim. It's, die by his own hands or face the consequences once the guards are able to get control back. I feel for him. I really do. Because he made it there, and he, along with the other prisoners, is chanting or yelling one way out. And right when he gets there, I'm pretty sure he saw the water and was like, holy, no. I've reached this whole way, and then water. The the last thing you probably even thought about. So there's that. And I wonder what's going to happen. Did he take the plunge? Did he realize that, hey, he did say that he'd rather die. I believe it was him, right? That said that I'd rather die by my own hands or die by my own. I mean, pretty much paraphrasing, but pretty much he says that he wants to be able to take life in his own hands. If he dies his way, he'd rather do it that way than die, at the hands of the prison guards and prison there. So did he jump and succumb to his fate, and that is drowning? Or did he jump and somebody saw him struggling and pulled him along? There are people that can swim and hold somebody and pull them along too. There's strong people like that. There's a lot of young guys there that I'm pretty sure are strong swimmers and can do that. But he stayed back as everybody was, So I don't know. If that was the case, then he didn't reveal it to anybody except for Cassian. Cassian didn't jump. He probably would have taken him and said, I will take you along. I'll drag you along. I'll swim and I'll hold on. Just hold on to me. I'll swim. But the other prisoners who were so excited about escaping bumped into him and ended up pushing him off as well. So Kino Loy, his fate is up in the air. Don't know what's going to happen to him. And what about Mon Mothma? She was being gracious. The guy there, Dabo Skulden, said, okay, I'll fund I'll give you the money. Money's nothing to me. Him saying that because he goes, well, what's your fee to help us? And he's like, nah, nothing. Money's nothing to me at this point. He's probably made so much money, he could take some of that money and, throw it out. Throw it here, throw it over there, like that. It's nothing to him. It's just like us losing, dimes and nickels and quarters in a sofa, right? And then when she insists, she probably wished that she hadn't insisted that he pay a fee, or they pay him a fee. Oh no, what's his fee? Yeah, like him paying a fee. He said, I don't want to pay a fee. It's a good. It's all good. Don't need to. She insisted because she didn't want to have anything to owe him anything. I don't want to owe you anything. I don't want to be owing nothing to anybody. So you know what is it? I don't want. She doesn't pretty much say that she doesn't want him to come back to him. Go say, remember when I helped you out? I want you to do this for me. It ended up being that anyways, because then he said, well, I'm gonna bring my 14-year-old son. You know, because at first he said, okay, like almost like his fee is like to let him come back and visit. And she's like, you know, probably going along with it. And then he goes, I'm gonna bring my 14-year-old son. And right away she knew what was going on. She's going to allow him to do that because you know what he wants to do. He wants to groom his son and her daughter to one day marry. He even said, yeah, she's 13 years old, but she's almost of age. And I'm like, man, you shouldn't have, Mon Mothma, you shouldn't have, you know, declined his offer of not paying. But she was smart. She actually did that because she didn't want to owe him anything. Or have him come back to her and ask her, hey, you owe me a favor for helping you out. So now she's stuck. She has an offer there. She has a man that's willing to help her, to fund her, you know, her projects, finance her projects, and yet it's going to be at the cost of her daughter. Ending up with the son of a known shady businessman, but she called him a criminal, a known criminal. A thug, is pretty much what she said. She called him. And that's that. So she's in a quandary. Much like Kino Loy, who's looking at freedom, but then there's a cost. Can he go there, jump in the water, and manage to make it? Or is he just going to just, you know, drop like a rock in water? You know, like just gonna, boop, just, once he's there, he just sinks. Sinks like an anchor. And her, she has financing, someone who can finance her, but then she knows that her relationship with her daughter is already kind of like on shaky ground. She's at that age where she's kind of rebellious and she doesn't want to really listen to her mom. And if she does this is what's going to happen is that, you know, she's really not going to want to have anything to do with her mom if she agrees to this. Is she going really to sacrifice her daughter to be in a, I don't know, a loveless marriage? Or a marriage with a possible marriage in the future with a known criminal's son. She has that to think about. You know, you have this guy, Lonnie Jung, who an ISB supervisor, but he turns out to be a rebel informant. Just like the driver of Mon Mothma, he secretly is he's an agent of the Empire. Or whatever his thing is, but he's there. They know that he's a spy, but they go along with it. They don't make sure not to talk in front of him and everything. And then he wants out. He has a daughter that he wants to be with, but Luthen is like, no, we've invested too much time, and we've groomed you to be where you are. You're right. With our help, you've rose through the ranks, and we need you in that spot. Because he's talking to, you know, the top people there, you know, along with Deidre Miro. So it's like, he doesn't, you know, we have everything going. We don't want you to just up and leave. And he's shaking, and it's getting to him, you know, he's by himself. Even Luthen even said, yeah, you're there, you're by yourself, I get it, but you got to stick it out. Luthen knows he's trapped. He's not gonna go for it because they're in. It's like they signed a damn contract, like almost like in blood, and it's like that's it. They made a pact with the devil, if you will, whatever. The thing that keeps them there, and they can't get out of it. It's like they, you know, sink or swim. It's like, you know, you're there. There's no turning back. So you have that, you know, and then pretty much those were like the main stories, man. The main focus of this episode, One Way Out. I enjoyed it. Love this season so far, and I love the episode, the show. You know, and I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes. Got 2 more left, and I've been enjoying this journey that I've been going on with this show. Star Wars really has been doing really well with their shows. Haven't watched all of them, but I think the ones I haven't watched Bad Batch. I haven't watched a couple others, but a lot of them mainly are the animated ones that I haven't watched. I don't know if it's just because I don't really watch that unless it's anime, unless it's stuff like that. That I mean, I think the last one I watched was Resident Evil. They do some good ones, animations. Those ones I like. I think those are 3D rendered. They're not mad. They're not anime or anything like that. But the Street Fighter ones back in the day, those were like anime. Those were pretty good. But I just don't. I'm just not in it. Even the, what is that? The Clone Wars. It's critically acclaimed, and everybody just swears by it that it's the greatest thing in Star Wars. But I haven't watched those. But the shows that I have watched are really good. They've really maintained a connection to the Star Wars universe. Some might say that they sway away from some of the things and they rewrite stuff and it kind of doesn't add up. But like I always say, when I watch shows, movies, I go along for the ride. And then later on, I could be like, okay, I can understand that it's not going along with, with canon, with the how it's supposed to be. It doesn't make sense because if this thing happens, it doesn't make sense because something else happens in the the future films that have already been released, like the prequels and all that stuff. It's like there's stuff that happened 5 years before Return of the Jedi and stuff like that. Sometimes people will go, hey, that doesn't really add up. I mean, there's some people that think that. I don't think so. Boba Fett takes place sometime before the events of well, actually after the events of Return of the Jedi, I believe. They showed him in the Sarlacc pit, Boba Fett, and he's able to survive. He has that armor on, so the acid or whatever it is inside of the that Sarlacc, that whatever that monster is or whatever inside there, it doesn't eat him up or anything like that. I mean, he was pretty scarred up, so that's probably a lot of it. Some of that got on him. But that's that. But yeah, I like this episode. Very, very intense. I like the plan that they had and executing it. And unfortunately, of course, they lost a number of people. Some of their own. And then there's others that were just, random guys that we don't know about. But we know about the other ones that were with, that are at the table with Andor, with Cassian. They lost a few of those guys. Pretty sad, but they knew they knew the choice, they knew the risk, they knew the sacrifice that they were gonna do, because it's freedom. It's either you want to go risk your life for freedom, or do you want to stay there and still risk your life and never get out? That's what they were facing. They were facing never leaving. Because remember, that guy that got transferred from that one area, he ends up going to another prison or another area. And the people that were there that may have witnessed it, all that stuff, whatever it is, that they decided to kill about I think it said in this episode about 100 people, a whole floor, so that it could be covered up. And it's funny because when they were escaping and yelling "one way out," you see the guards and they're outnumbered. 5,000 were on that, were the prisoners in that prison. Up against what, maybe 100 guards, and there's just a handful of them that were cowering. One guy sweating profusely, and I'm just thinking, those guys probably thought that they were done for, but they hit out, and the prisoners just went right by them. While they were, holed up in that one area. And I'm pretty sure that as soon as everybody's gone and they know that all these prisoners are gone, they're going to open up the thing, they're going to get out there, and they'll see Kino Loy. If Kino Loy didn't make the jump, make the leap, at least try to, he doesn't know how to swim, so he won't get too far. Unless there's still some people there when he jumps down, and then they'll help him along. Stranger things have happened. We think that someone dies, and they're actually, alive, so maybe that's what's going to happen with Kino Loy, and I hope so. But we'll see. But like I said, man, I like this episode, and the show is so good. People were calling it the best, episode. I mean, not best episode, but the best show coming from you know, the Star Wars, you know, universe and everything like that. And it's one of the best shows. It's one of the best shows that they have. You know, I'm still a Mandalorian, and I'm still thinking that Mandalorian is the best you know, season, best episode, season episode. I'm saying the wrong thing. The best show, you know. But this is a good show too, and I think it's right up there with the Mandalorian. But pretty much that's all I got to say. You know, I covered about Mon Mothma and the prisoners escaping, and then Luthen and that Lonnie Jung guy, and you know, and that's pretty much it. We'll see what happens in the next episode. Where does Cassian go now? Because now, yeah, he made an escape, but now, just like before, he's on the run. So what's his next step? What's his next plan? And there was somebody with them. Is that person going to be with him, or are they going to split up? But we'll see what happens, because now, I don't know if the prison, the one guy's going to send you know, all these soldiers after him, you know, these stormtroopers or sand troopers, and you know, are they now wanted men? I'm pretty sure. But we'll see what happens, and see what happens in the further adventures of Cassian Andor. But anyway, that is my video. That is my recap on episode 10 of Star Wars Andor, titled One Way Out. Unfortunately, that one way out was not the way that Kino wanted to go, because he couldn't swim. And that is a scary thing to face, because it's like, he's out, there it is, freedom. But the one thing that he probably was scared of, and that is, you know, water, an ocean, something that he has to swim, and he can't swim. And that is pretty, it's like, man, he is at a point where, like I said, he's either going to jump and hope for the best, or he's just going to stay behind and face the consequences. I wouldn't want to be Kino Loy in that position, but that's what he faces. But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked out this video, I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. And in closing, and as always, take care.